Hello, trading is closed on February 12th, 2025. We'll do our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make our predictions. My trading plan for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. Remember, my plan can change. My plan can be wrong. Trade at your own risk. Look for the pattern with the early high and the late low, which is this. And the pattern has a rally in the middle of the day, and we got that too. We said the late low didn't have to be under the early high, and it wasn't. We had a target, 6,053.87, and that printed. It's a reminder of what we said. During the day, we got an ultimate sell signal, but when that worked, MEJT said it was false. Price would recover over this line. That's already happened. Well, we had a drop really under a bunch of prior lows, but we held right at this trend line. The trend line's been tested so many times, you don't really have to gap under it to make a valid break, but it'd surely be a lot clearer if you did. And when we broke under this trend line, we couldn't hold it. Now again, time doesn't run out until tomorrow's open. We open down here, this recovery doesn't mean a thing. And that we don't know. But for right now, that's positive too. It's also positive after moving under all these lows. We recovered. Here's the close. We recovered over all these lows. That's positive as far as it goes, but we've also rallied all day and couldn't close over any prior highs. So closing over some prior lows is the first step. But until you close over some prior highs, you're still in a downtrend, but that doesn't mean you have to stay in it. We have an optional target, 6016.10. Now these things don't have to print, that's why they're optional. But when I did a computer test of the pattern over a year period, it worked 95% of the time. 95% is pretty good. Just remember, 5% of the time it can fail big. With the PPI report coming out tomorrow, it's not my kind of trade. I like to wait to see what happens. Let's take a look at the wave count. We've been looking at 5864, where wave green C is going to equal wave green A. And this was the count we had. We had in green C, we had red A, red B. This is 5 waves. You can count that as one array. You can count that as 2 of B. Now if you measure, if this holds, which we don't know, but if this holds, and that's red C of green C, you can see that red C of green C and red A of green C have a good FEB relationship. That's 61.8. So if we hold here and drop, everything works, but I can't say that's a guarantee for it to happen. So if we drop, everything is still according to plan, but if we move up here and something else is going on, and we won't know that till the open. Well, Thursday's pattern has the early high regardless of where we open. PPI report comes out before the open. I can't predict the response to such reports with a sufficient degree of accuracy. There's an optional MEJT target. In the past, it's printed the next day about 95% of the time. If that doesn't happen, we'll just forget that target. The drop under prior lows recovered over all of those lows at the close. It's positive as far as it goes, but until we recover prior highs, we still have lower highs and lower lows. So if we gap down, promptly undercut today's low, the wave count remains compatible with a drop to our long-standing target near 58.64 cash. But because of the recovery over prior lows, I just can't rule out gapping up. If we do gap up, I don't really have a good plan. And some of the other stuff I'm watching is actually close to giving a buy. Hasn't given it yet. So we just get a bad response to PPI. Everything is going according to plan, but it is the pattern with the early high, and if we gap up instead, the plan could fall apart like a house of cards. And that we're not going to know till the open. That's the pattern with the early high, and that's today's call.